Welcome to London. Just over my left shoulder is the Shard, the current tallest building in the UK, and it lies around half a mile from where I am. Yet I'm here for something different, the monument to the Great Fire of London. Burning for 4 days in 1666, the Great Fire of London consumed over 13,000 homes, 80 churches, and could burn at up to 1200 degrees centigrade. This 202-foot tall column was constructed between 1671 and 1677 on the site of the first church to burn down during the fire. Yet the reason for this video is that this monument was designed to both commemorate the fire but also as a 202-foot tall telescope. The monument was built by Robert Hooke, and the experiment he was trying to do with his 202-foot telescope was to assess whether the sun revolved around the earth or the earth revolved around the sun. Now we know the answer today, and many of the intellectuals of the day thought they knew the answer. They thought the earth revolved around the sun, but you need proof of that kind of thing. And the best way to do that is to measure it with something big and something precise. Hooke succeeded on the first measure. He built something big. But he also needs something precise, and while there was no issue with the construction itself, there was an issue with its location. Just as it is today, London and this section of it is busy, and back then it was the same. The traffic and all the people walking by his column meant that there was a lot of vibrations, and it meant that the measurements weren't precise enough for what he needed. Now, this is not to say the entire column was a failure. Hooke would use it for another experiment to assess whether the air pressure would change with altitude. Now, the best way to do this is to use a barometer and then to scale heights, and it can be quite hard to measure that with precision because, well, there's not many tall things that are precisely built back then. So each of the over 300 steps in the monument behind me are exactly 6 inches. This allowed Hooke to say with precision how much air pressure would change with altitude. But this wasn't groundbreaking. The concept that air pressure changed with altitude and the proof that it did were 3 decades old by a guy walking up a mountain. So this monument behind me, if you regard it as a scientific tool, could be seen as a bit of a folly. It didn't achieve much. Now, of course, the primary purpose was to be a monument to the Great Fire of London and the people that died in it and the buildings that was destroyed by it. But as a scientific experiment, it failed. And it was built at quite a large expense to be a scientific experiment as well as a monument. But it's a monument to 2 things. Firstly, the Great Fire, as it bears on the outside, but it's also a monument to Hooke's ambition. In that era, they would build big things just to see if they worked, or for the first time, or to conduct 61-metre tall science experiments. And while he didn't reach any groundbreaking conclusions, the monument itself is still pretty special and groundbreaking.
I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please do subscribe for more and check out my podcast, where I cover topics like this in a lot greater depth. Thank you for watching.